Doing well today. Happy Wednesday. So, this morning we are going to be talking about 3 ways to start intuitive eating. So, if you guys are catching me live this morning, please say hello so I can say hi back to you live. And then if you're watching on the replay, just hashtag replay, and I'll make sure I come on later and say hi to you then. So, what are you guys up to today? Are you working? Are you at home? Are you catching this later? I'm trying to see if I'm coming up here. Not yet. Okay, so just a little bit of housekeeping stuff before we get started on what we're talking about this morning. If you guys are watching this on Facebook right now, I would encourage you to head on over to YouTube when this video is done and type in my first and last name, hit the subscribe button and the bell to receive notifications for each time that I come live. On my YouTube channel, you will find over 100 videos ranging in topics from yoga, meditation, self-love topics, intuitive eating, mindful eating, crystals, aromatherapy, oracle cards, all things kind of really the root of all of my content is around self-love and finding self-love at any size through all these different approaches. So I would love to have you over there. And if not, then welcome. We're going to be chatting today about 3 ways to start intuitive eating. So intuitive eating is a more recent part of my journey. I'm going to see if I can see me now. There I am. Okay. Make sure I can see. Oh, I see Catherine. Hello. So today we're going to be talking about some easy ways that you can start intuitive eating. Intuitive eating, there's a whole big old book that goes with all what it involves. I am currently taking my facilitator training to be able to kind of take people through it in a more formal way, but these are just some tips that I've kind of started with myself along my journey, and I just wanted to share with you guys in case it's something that you feel like you want to try. So intuitive eating it's choosing to eat foods that feel best without a focus on numbers. So, and not making food good or bad. So when we're talking about numbers, we're talking about counting calories or macros or weighing your food or all these different things that diet culture and society has told us that is the right thing to do if you're going to be healthy. And so intuitive eating kind of takes a whole different approach to it, of like a non-diet approach to just more connecting and listening to your body. And I think I was attracted to intuitive eating because of that, because with my yoga practice and meditation and all that kind of stuff that I do that allows me to connect to my body, I wasn't connecting to my body when it came to what I was eating or my food. And so this practice really intrigued me and I couldn't wait to learn more about it. And so numbers act as like a security blanket, right? Like they give you that permission to be like, oh, I saved up all my calories, I'm gonna have a cookie or whatever it is, right? And so it's unhealthy habits that we create for ourselves that don't allow us to connect to our body and listen to our body and give our body what our body wants, right? So these are just 3 ways to start thinking about implementing intuitive eating if it's something that you feel like you are really tired of diet culture and you're really tired of, either restricting or binging or any of these things that we tend to do with our food and eating. It really allows us to come back to a place of listening to our body. So the first tip is to allow yourself to feel hungry. And think about this for a second. Have you noticed that oftentimes, like, do you find yourself feeling hungry, or do you find yourself always kind of at that level of fullness or like contentment? How often do you actually notice like your tummy gurgling or your body giving you those signals that it is hungry? So many diets out there and meal plans and stuff like that are kind of under the mindset of always be eating, right? Which I know if you have different medical conditions, you may be told that that's what you need to do. So I'm not giving you medical advice by any means. But if you allow yourself to feel hungry, then you start to tune into your body. And because I know in the past and I know other people who have done this too, of like, you'll be going out somewhere and it's like, well, what if I get there and there's nothing that's on my plan that I can eat? Then what I'm going to do? So then you find yourself being stressed and worried and not relaxed about the whole process of going out to eat, or going to eat at a friend's house, or going to eat at a family member's house. So we just need to get back to a point of feeling hungry, because then we'll be able to start recognizing what food quality actually what food actually sounds good to us. Because if we're always at this fullness state, then it's hard for us to start to think about what we actually want, or if we're actually hungry. So really, a couple things that I have started to implement in my own practices is just sitting down to eat with no distractions. And that is something that I think we've all kind of gotten away from, and I know I have too, of not actually sitting down and eating. Because I will find myself sometimes in the morning when we're busy, I will find myself, I've made myself breakfast and I sit down to eat, but then I get busy on my phone, or I get busy doing something, and then all of a sudden my food's gone and I'm like, I don't even think I ate it, but where did it go? So we have a total disconnect from actually being able to sit down and enjoy our food. So that's one thing about intuitive eating, is being able to actually sit down and enjoy your food and don't have distractions. So turn your phone upside down, or put it away somewhere else, or turn the TV off, and just be with either the people you're eating with, or being mindful about eating what you're eating and actually noticing. Because the thing is when we focus on if we're not focused on food, then all of a sudden there's food gone, and we're either really full, or we're not even sure if we ate and if we are still hungry. Like, there's this whole disconnect, right? So another thing that is really helpful for me in intuitive eating is the hunger scale. So being able to kind of gauge your scale of 0 to 10 on where you are at with your hunger or your fullness. And so if they say that you kind of want to be at a 3 to 4 when you're feeling hungry, and that means you kind of need to eat. If you're feeling like anything below a 3, that's like super starving, and that's the point where you have that unhealthy behavior of possibly binging, or just eating too much because you're just so hungry. It's like the hangry stage, right? So we want to be kind of at anywhere between a 3 and a 6 when we're kind of at that stage where we're going to eat. And then as we start to get full, we want to probably not go past like a 7 or an 8, because after that, then you become that painfully full. Like, if you guys have experienced like Thanksgiving dinners or Christmas dinners, where you eat so much because you were looking so forward to it, and then you like can't even breathe afterwards. So it's really being mindful of noticing that hunger scale, and then checking in with that scale as you eat, of like, okay, am I still at a 5 or 6, or am I getting to a 7 or 8 and I'm done eating, regardless of how much is left on your plate? And I think that's a really big, important piece too, is not always having the mentality of I have to finish what I've put on my plate. It's more of listening to your body, which is our healthy way of kind of connecting to our bodies and the whole intuitive eating process. So the hunger scale really is helpful when you're just starting to kind of dive into this whole world of intuitive eating. And then our second tip for you guys is to enjoy your food. And I kind of have said this already, the whole point of like sometimes eating food and not even realizing that you ate it. We're going to kind of come back to allowing your body to relax while you eat. So trying not to always be in that state of I got to eat this because I got to go do that. Or, we have to eat quickly because this is on TV, or whatever it is, right? Because the interesting part about that is when you're actually eating in a relaxed state, you're actually able to digest your food faster and more quickly. And it's easier to tell when you're full too, when you're actually enjoying your food and relaxing during that process. So it's important to try and slow down. And I know we're in a society and a life that feels like we have to always be busy, a little more so not right now because we're in a pandemic, but it's just really starting to take that moment to enjoy your food. And then the third tip for you guys with just starting intuitive eating is to notice which foods fill you up. And so I've started to do this as well. And I will just be mindful of my food of like, okay, when I eat a bag of chips, I'm hungry like 5 minutes later. Where if I eat, vegetables and dip, or if I eat fruit, those foods actually keep me full a lot longer than those kind of empty foods. Not to say that I don't eat those foods. It's just being mindful to notice what fills you up and what doesn't. And then choosing that, like choosing to nourish your body and choosing to give your body food that actually keeps you full, which is the whole part of kind of still allowing yourself to have those foods, because we're all going to, whether you're on a diet or if you're choosing to be an intuitive eater, you're going to still have those things that have been labeled as bad foods or good foods. It's just more being in tune with what fills you up and being able to know that, to help you just make choices that make your body feel good. Because it's also about of connecting to how your body feels when you're eating certain foods. Like when you eat a whole bunch of potential, like let's say you eat a lot of heavy food, like you eat a lot of, like, let's say you're having like a bunch of appetizers and they're all like heavy and like cream cheese and all those kind of things. It's delicious and you're still going to have those things, but how do they make your body feel? Do they make your body feel really good and energized and kind of nourished, or do they make you kind of feel sluggish and full and uncomfortable? So we are going to have those moments where we're going to choose those foods, but tuning into your hunger scale and then also tuning into which foods fill you up. You may choose to have that, delicious chili dip or whatever it is, but then also have some veggies and dip to be able to fill you up in that way that makes you feel good too. So it's just being able to find balance, you guys, is really the important part, and connecting to your body and listening to your body. And so I hope those couple tips were helpful for you guys. If you are interested at all at intuitive eating, it's a really, it's a very different approach than what I have ever experienced. I am a chronic yo-yo dieter that I am unlearning all of those things that I've learned and coming back to a place more to listening to my body and honoring what my body needs and nourishing my body with foods that make me feel good. So it's a process, and it's not easy, and it's a lot of unlearning, which isn't always easy, right? So I hope that was helpful for you guys if you are interested at all in that kind of stuff. And before I pop out of here, I have a couple different ways if you're interested in learning more. I have a 28-day yoga and mindful eating program that takes you through 28 days of yoga and workbooks on mindful eating. So it kind of allows you to start to really dive into the whole either mindful eating or intuitive eating approach and start to kind of make peace with food, discover the ability to ditch the diet mentality. And then we're also going to be working on kind of finding movement we love with yoga practices. And the cool part about this is I tend to put a lot of my stuff towards busy people, because I myself usually don't have time to make much time for other things. So these practices can all be done in 10 minutes a day. So it's something you can fit into little bits of time you might have. So I have the busy person in mind when I have designed this program. So if it's something you're interested in, it's actually half off for the rest of this month. And then the price will be going up as I launch my next program, which I will explain to you guys about quickly here too. I have a gigantic group coaching program that I am launching. Don't be scared when I say gigantic though. Gigantic in meaning like amazing. So I have a program launching in 2 weeks, and it is called the Self-Love Revolution with Martina. It is helping people to find self-love at any size. It's helping people to show up with confidence for their life, being able to accept and respect their bodies just as they are in this moment, find movement they love, do that inner healing work that allows you to actually start to actually love yourself. Because if you haven't done any of the inner healing work, it becomes really hard to start to love who you see in the mirror. So I am here to help you and guide you along with that and stand beside you in your self-love journey. So the link to that program is in the description of this video if you want to learn more about it. And I think that's all, you guys. So, oh yeah, one more thing. If you guys aren't in here yet, you should be. It is a group called Imperfectly Perfect You. It's a free community here on Facebook, and it just empowers people to find self-love at any size through many different holistic and mystic approaches. So if you feeling like you need some support support from a community like this, we would love to welcome you into that space. The link to join that group is in the description of this video as well. So that is all, you guys. I hope this was helpful for you this morning, and we will see you tomorrow. Take care.